Shanti. Today we'll be doing the book is How to Be Free from Laziness and Carelessness. And let's see what Baba has said in this book. This is a compilation of all the Avyakt Vaniya, um, from Baba's Avyakt Vanis about laziness and carelessness. So let's see what Baba and the Spark Wing has put it together from Brahma Kumaris, and I'm just going to start reading today from this page. So, Bab Dada checked everyone's chart. Totally 50% of the children have been seeing others and have been careless. In some cases, even good children become very careless. This happens anyways. This continues all the time. Let it just continue. Like, this is normally what the children say. So this happens all anyways. This continues all the time. That just continue. Everyone does it in this way. Bab Dada is amused, thinking that if one person is hit by something, you become careless and also experience the same thing. Is this being sensible? Is this an act of being sensible? The repentance for being carelessness is very, very, very severe. You should really make a mental note of this. Um, that the repentance of being carelessness is very, very, very severe. Okay, maybe you may not think that this is not a big thing at the moment, but Bapdada sees everything as to how careless you are and how you follow others in going down. Bapdada feels a lot of mercy. The moment of repentance would be so difficult. That is why, in this old world, bid farewell from your heart to the wave of carelessness and the wave of looking at others. So, two things we have to give up is the way we look at others and the way of carelessness. When you have a little zeal and enthusiasm, then you have a disinterest for a short time. So, once we have little enthusiasm, excitement. We have little for only for a short time we are disinterested, but that is a temporary disinterest. Therefore, pay a lot of attention to the things that Bap Dada has spoken about and told you to become free of. It has been sent, it has been seen that the older ones have greater carelessness. The initial force of enthusiasm don't remain long. There is carelessness in the study also. You feel that you have heard and understood everything. Just think about it. If you had understood everything, then Bab Dada would have finished the education. Very important point. Once the students have finished their studies, why should they have to study further? You would have finished these studies. However, bid farewell to this carelessness as well. Do not look at others, but look at the Father. Look at Father Brahma. If others stumble, it is the duty of a Maharati to protect them from falling, from stumbling. So, will you bid farewell to the old year very well? Will you or not? This was on 31st of December 1995. The next Baba said is today the Kumaris are going to take the exams. In the effort you are making, you have to imbibe seven main things to renounce seven things. What are they? Each Kumari gave her thought. You tell everyone to renounce the five vices, and together with that, the sixth thing is laziness, and seventh is fear. That's very important. Seventh is fear. Fear is also big vice. The main virtue of a Shakti is fearlessness. Therefore, you also have to renounce the fear. Acha, what do you have to imbibe? You have to know your original form. That is, that we are a soul in this body. So you have to know your original form, your original religion, your original home, which is Paramdham, pure actions, your aim. the qualities for that aim, and you will also have to spin the discuss of self-realization. You have to imbibe these seven aspects. What will you become if you imbibe these seven things? The goddess of coolness. You must not become Kali. You now have to become Shitla, the goddess of coolness. So if we imbibe the seven virtues, which is also leaving the carelessness and the fearlessness away, we will become the goddess of coolness. Okay. The goddess of coolness. You have to become Kali over the vices. Be Kali in front of the devils. But you have to become Shitla, the goddess of coolness for your Brahmin clan. This was said on 23 20th March 1969. And then Baba says the result of the effort of the present time should not be less than 75% for the majority of you. Baba is also telling you the results. Some are waiting for the time, and some are waiting because of obstacles, some because of their relationships, and some because of their own body. But no matter what something is like, whatever is in front of you, whatever the situation, you have to become perfect in that very body. You have to keep this aim. Now, because you take the support of something or another, you become dependent. You are dependent on things. Each one of you relates your own story at Amrit Vela. Some say if we did not have this physical illness, we would have made a lot of effort. Some say remove this bondage. But if one bondage is removed, another one will emerge. If the bondage of the body is removed, the bondage of the mind. This is such an important point, actually. If the bondage of the body is removed, the bondage of the mind, a bondage of wealth, a bondage of relationship will emerge. What will you do then? They will not remove themselves. You have to remove them with your own power. Something that Bap Dada will remove them, or they will be removed according to the time. But you must not think in this way. The time has now come very close. Those who became slack in their effort will let this time for effort slip through their hands. Do you know how many breaths you take? That's a very important question. We don't know how long we are alive. So Baba says, do you know how many breaths you take? They are countless. And so each breath and each second should be used in a worthwhile way. Now the time is such that if there's any kind of carelessness remaining, then just as many children lost the great fortune of experiencing a sweet meeting with Sakar Baba, in the same way, this fortunate time of making effort will be lost through their own hands. Very important. This is why you're being told about it beforehand. Have love for effort and increase your effort. Baba continues to watch the game from above. You can also come up and watch it and you will enjoy yourself a great deal. Baba sees very entertaining game of the children. You can also see them. If you watch whilst being stable in your elevated self, you will be able to see the games of others as well as your own. Babdada continues to watch them. This is from 17 April 1969, Murli. When the 3-minute record is being recorded, you pay so much attention to it. All of you are recording your record for 21 births. This is very important. When we listen to a song in Baba's Murli, we are so much attentive. But Baba says when you are recording your record for 21 births, so should there So there should be so much attention paid at this time of recording it. If there is slightest fluctuation in the record, it is erased for all time. Your record for the kingdom of the golden age is being recorded for 21 births, and so it shouldn't be spoiled. If it's erased, you distance yourself. And so you should think about it. Everyone's vision is on your every action. This is a very important line. Everyone vision is on your every action. When actors are aware that everyone is watching them, then pay special attention to themselves. When there isn't anyone observing them, they become careless. They think that nobody's watching. So always think that even when you're doing something by yourself, you're in front of the world. The souls of the entire world are watching you from all four directions. That's a very um line that Baba said, a very statement that Baba said that should really make us very, very aware of ourselves. And it's from 1805, 1969, that you're on the world stage. Then sitting here are effort makers. Is there everyone sitting here who would say that he's not an effort maker? Since you are an effort maker, why is this lacking? Why do you have to do? Why are you not able to remain introvert when you want to? Why do you become extroverted? All of you become enlightened souls. With being clever, enlightened souls, why do you become senseless? You have received understanding. The course of understanding has also finished. And since the course is finished, it means that you have become sensible. Why are you still senseless? It has been seen that the main reason is that some of you become careless. And this is called laziness. The sweet form of laziness is lethargy. There are many forms of laziness. The majority of you have laziness or carelessness in one form or the other. There is the desire and also the effort to do it, but there is carelessness. You are not able to make the kind of effort that you should be making. When there is a great knowledge in the intellect, greater knowledge in the intellect, there is greater carelessness because of it. Those who consider themselves to be less clever are making intense effort. So this is the key. If we think that we have got everything, we become carelessness. We become careless. But if we think that we are less clever or we haven't got everything from Baba, then we'll start making the intense effort. Those who consider themselves to be very clever become more careless. The desperation to show and do something that there previously used to be in your effort has now finished. That's what Baba is saying. You have become contented. You have become contented with yourself. That's not nice. You have become contented with yourself. We have understood the knowledge we are doing service anyways. You must not be contented soul in this way. Baba says should not be contented soul in this way. There should be desperation and enthusiasm in your effort, just as the one in bondages are desperate. They make intense effort, whereas those who are not in bondage become contented and so become careless. Baba says those who are not in bondage become careless. This is also the result seen in majority of effort makers. Always think you're becoming a number one effort maker. Not that you have become that. Always think that you are becoming a number one effort maker, not that you have become that. When there is the knowledge of all three aspects of time in the intellect, you consider yourself to be even more clever when you know what's coming. You have to be more, you consider yourself to be even more clever. You were also told previously how you became the master when you should have become the child. How you become a child when you have become a master. Mhm. So we know that then when to become master and when to become child. So you are making sweet efforts in the form of a child. You have claimed the right to the kingdom and you have also received the tilak, Baba says. We have received the tilak. However, the slack and sweet effort will not do any more. The more you remain stable in the form of Shakti and the powerful your effort will be. At present, your effort is not powerful, it is slack. All of you are effort makers, but there isn't the power that there should be in the effort. It isn't powerful effort. In order to fill your effort with the power, you must keep a point in front of you in the morning. Just as you have a heart-to-heart conversation at Amrit Vela, in the same way, in order to make your effort powerful, especially retain one or another point in the intellect. Now there is a need to make a special effort. The day of making effort, ordinary efforts have now passed. Just as you hold special functions in the same way, you must now understand that because there is very little time, you have you have to have a program for making special efforts. You have to keep the aim of making special efforts and move forward. If you're still continuing to move along with this poor result, what will be the result of the exams that are yet to come? Much more difficult are yet to come. So, in order to face them, you will have to make hard effort. If the effort is ordinary and the exams are difficult, what will be the result? What will be the result be? Baba says that. And this is from 1906, 1969 in English, and in the book in 090669. If you remember one thing, you will reveal yourself through the showcase. Whatever efforts I perform, other will see me and do the same. Each one of you should understand I am not alone. The entire kingdom is in front of me and also behind me. My subjects and my bhagats are observing me. I am not alone. That's a very powerful statement that Baba made. That you're on a world stage and everyone is watching you. That you are not alone. You do not think so much about the actions you perform when you are alone. Now you must consider yourself amidst your subjects and your bhags. All of them will follow you. Your bhagats and your subjects will also be filled with the sanskar of all the steps that you take in every second. When a fetus is in a mother's womb, the mother is very attentive to whatever she does, whatever she eats, because she's filling the fetus with those sanskars. So all of you have to pay as much attention. Whatever action I perform, my subjects and bhagat from copper age to the iron age will also do the same because I'm the old soul. My temple will be created accordingly. My image will be created accordingly. My temple will be positioned accordingly. Therefore, always have the awareness that you are not alone. You are the creation and also the master creators. Parents can do whatever they like when they are alone, but they pay so much attention when they're in front of their own in front of their creation. So all of you are also creators. Whatever the creators do, the creation will do the same. When responsibility falls upon you, by your having that responsibility, careless and laziness finish. Which responsibility? Whatever actions I perform, each star has to be perceived in its own world. Some have a small world and some have a big world. So that's what Baba says. That is on 1607, 1969. When Maya enters someone, in which form does she first come? Many gave their own ideas. So Baba says, first of all, Maya brings laziness in many different forms. With body consciousness also, the first forms it adopts is that of laziness. At that time, you become lazy in taking Srimad and verifying something. Then body consciousness increases. In all other aspects too, laziness first comes in many different forms. Laziness and unhappiness make you distance in all relationships. It distances you in the corporeal relationships also. The intellect relationships and relationships in terms of taking corporations. The intellectual relationships and relationships in taking corporations. What is the gross form which comes after from this laziness? It manifests in a revealed form of body consciousness. First of all, it brings with the sixth vice. It begins in the enlightened souls with the last number vice, that is, with the laziness it becomes. What are the thoughts that you have because of laziness? At present, it is in this form that Maya interferes. You have to pay a lot of attention to this. Maya tries to come to you in many different ways in this sixth form. There are many different forms of laziness. This Maya can come in both ways, physically and mentally. Many think, okay, if not now, I will do it later at some point. What is the need to rush? Maya comes in this way in a very royal form. Many also think how it is possible to have the Avyak stage for 6 to 8 hours in this life whilst we are still making efforts. This stage can only become at the end. This is also a royal form of laziness. I will do it later. I will think about it. I will see about it. All this laziness, now you must become the checkers of all this. Is Maya making any of you move backwards through her royal form? That is the question we need to ask ourselves. You do have to sustain your household, but you forget to have the attitude of disinterest while living in the household. You remember half the slogan and you let go of the other half. Laziness first enter in a very subtle way through your thoughts, and after that it takes on a larger form. So it's first our thoughts that we have to check. And that's from 25th oh 06 1970 Baba said this. Then Baba says, you were told that you must finish the world sometime. You should say now in every aspect. You have to bring about such a transformation in your words, thoughts, and actions. So now is the key word here. You must not have it in your thoughts that you will do it in some times or that will happen at some point. No, I will do it now. it will happen now. You have to bring about this transformation. Only then there will be success in service. Baba says, if you say yourself it will happen at some point, your subjects will also say it seems very good, nice. We will do it at some point, or it will happen at some point. Those who leave everything for another time are the subjects of later period. This is very key word that Baba says, that those who leave everything for another time are the subjects of later period. Now you have to create the subjects of the first period. In order to create subjects of the first period, you will have to renounce being delicate. Renounce moving along with delicacy, nas. Continue to move along whilst understanding the significance, which is the ras. So we have to renounce the delicacy, the nas. Carelessness is being delicate. The more you remain Rajyuk, the one who understands the significance of everything, the more the nature of being delicate will be removed. Do you maintain the one form of spirituality at all time? Instead of changing your form, you have to shed the consciousness of the body, Baba says. You have to maintain this practice. Instead of changing your form, you have to shed the consciousness of the body. You have to maintain this practice. If you have the practice of shedding the awareness of your body, you will be able to renounce changing your form. To be regular in your study is a main aspect. And in that too, it is not just attending classes, but in every aspect. The more regular you are, the more ruler you will become. So what do you have to do? You have to be regular in all aspects, Baba says. From the time you wake up at Amrit Vela, you must be regular in your every thought, word, and action. Not even one word should be wasteful. When important people of this world give a speech, the words are fixed. You are also the most important of all the people. You should understand that, and we should imbibe that. So, if your word should also be fixed, then they should not be mixed with Maya. Those who are regular in such way have a success guaranteed at their service, whilst carrying out every task for the conference. You must not forget that you are the images that grant visions in front of the world. When you become the image that grants vision, others will automatically have a vision of Bap Dada through you. That is the most important point. And this was said in 060870 Murli. Then Baba saying there is a saying, little children are like God. But Baba Dada says little children are equal to God. This is more important. You must maintain equality in every aspect at every step, but how will there be equality? In order for there to be equality, you have to pay attention to two things. What were the specialities of the corporeal form? What were the specialities of the corporeal form? Firstly, he also considered himself to be the image of the support. He was the image of support for the whole world. Then Baba said, what happens through this is that whatever you do it with that responsibility. Then there will not be any carelessness. Just as Bab Dada is the image of support for everyone, In the same way, every child is an image or support of the world. Whatever actions you perform, everyone else will also do the same thing. Whatever are the systems of the confluence age, they continue on the path of bhakti. You are the image of support for the whole world. Each of you should consider yourself to be the image of support. Secondly, you have to become an image of upliftment. The more you uplift yourself, the more you will be able to uplift others. The more you uplift others, the more you uplift yourself. So, how will you uplift others if you cannot uplift yourself? I was asking. You can only uplift others when you have become the image of generosity. Although you may be little, you have to carry out the task equal to the Father. There will be equality when you remember this. Very important point. So today we have done the 15 pages of this book, To Be Free from Laziness and Carelessness PDF. This was said in 1710, 1970 by Baba. Very important. So especially we have to understand that after the 5 vices comes the 6th is the carelessness and the 7th is the fear. So we have to become fearless and remove all the carelessness from our life. So thank you everyone for listening to this Murli. I hope it helps you in your Purusharth. And we have to become very much aware of each and every thought that we are thinking as we are on the world stage. Everyone is looking at us from all the 4 stages. Our bhagats, our the kingdom that is to be formed. So all the people are looking at us, all the souls. So on that note, when you become aware, you will not have the laziness or the carelessness. So Shanti, thank you. Good luck with your prashad. And I'll be bringing the second, I'll be reading the second part shortly. Om Shanti. So I'm continuing the part 2 of To Be Free from Laziness and Carelessness PDF from Baba Abhyak Murlis. So we are starting from here where Baba says, now from page 15, Baba says, now have the intoxication of being a master creator and continue to distance yourself from all the attractions of creation. You are the creation in front of the Father. Baba is watching each one of us. But a time will come where if you do not stabilize yourself in this powerful stage of master creator and master knowledgeable, your creation will create a variety of forms, colors, and ways. Therefore, in order to become full, stabilize yourself in your stage and you will not fail anywhere. Even now, there are mistakes of childhood, the mistakes of carelessness, the mistakes of laziness, and the mistakes of having a don't care attitude still remaining. Now, forget these 4 types of mistakes in the same way as you will have forgotten them in the golden agent world. So now show your form of being the embodiment of the power, the form that has adopted all the forms and the light that is constantly lit in a practical way. The bhagats of each of you deities is in the incognito form are desperate to find you. When your perfect form is revealed, it is then your bhagats will find you. Their special deities in that visible form. At present, there are many types of bugs. They will hear the sound, but you must remember that on the one side, the sound of the devilish souls will emerge with greater attraction and full force. And on the other side, the sound from your bhagats will be in full force in many different ways. It is the task of the intellect to discriminate between what you have to put into the practical form and what you must not. Therefore, the time for favors has now gone by. It is now the time for spiritualities. For the spirituality, if there isn't any spirituality, you will battle with many different types of Maya. This is why Bap Dada is giving you a warning even today. This is on 22nd October 1970 that Baba said that. The Father is constantly cooperative with those who maintain courage. Therefore, never let go of your courage. Always maintain courage and remain enthusiastic. With courage, you will constantly remain cheerful. What will happen by having enthusiasm? What does enthusiasm finish? It finishes laziness. What does enthusiasm finish? It finishes laziness. Laziness is also the main vice. At present time, those effort makers who are moving along the path of effort are attacked by Maya in the form of laziness in different ways. So, in order to finish laziness, remain constantly enthusiastic. So, the antidote for laziness we know is enthusiasm. And that's how we can finish it. When someone has enthusiasm to earn an income, his laziness finishes. If someone does not have enthusiasm for any particular task, he will definitely have laziness. Therefore, never let go of your enthusiasm so that you have become influenced by laziness and are deprived by performing elevated karmas. There are many types of laziness. Laziness becomes a great obstacle in your effort to move forward. When you say, okay, I will think about it, I will do it, I will definitely do it, it is a sign of laziness. I will do it, it will happen. No, you have to start doing it instantly. Now is the key word. You have already imbibed in your intellect the knowledge and dharana you have received. However, what becomes an obstacle to it becoming practical is your own laziness. Acha, I will do this from tomorrow. If the other person does it, it will also, I will also do it. I think about it today and do it from tomorrow. This is all forms of laziness, Baba says. I will finish this task and then do it afterwards. Such thoughts are a form of laziness. Whatever you want to do it now. Do as much as you want to do as much as you want to at this time. When you say these words, I will think about it. I will do it later. There is gaga language at the end of it that I will do it. Um, in Hindi, it's like हम करेंगे, हो जाएगा, ऐसा होगा. So all that, those words are from the Gaga language, Baba says. These words are a sign of childhood. A little child speaks the language of Gaga. This is a sign of carelessness. Therefore, never allow the form of laziness to come to you. Constantly maintain your enthusiasm because you have become the instrument. When the instrument constantly maintain enthusiasm in their effort, then seeing them, others will also be enthusiastic. What is it a sign of? If whilst moving along, you become tired in your own effort or your effort becomes ordinary. If there are no if there are no obstacle, but there is no intense love either, That too is called laziness. Many have the experience whereby they do not have any obstacles. They are moving along well, but they do not have that intense love, and that is, they do not have any special enthusiasm. So this is also sign of laziness. There are many types of laziness. Never allow this laziness to come. First of all, laziness makes you into an ordinary effort maker, or it will make you distance from being close, Baba says. Then, having made you distance, it will also deceive you. It will make you weak and powerless. By becoming weak and powerless, you become influenced by weaknesses. Therefore, constantly continue to check whether your intellect has become distant from the Father or Father's task. Is it completely close and with the Father? In today's world, Baba says when a person kills someone or commits an act of violence, he first takes the victim somewhere far away. He will isolate the victim to weaken him and then attack him. Maya is also clever. First, she'll make your intellect distance from the Almighty Authority Father. Then, when the victim becomes weak, she attacks you. No matter what happens, do not ever distance your intellect from the company of your Father. This is the mistake what we do, that we distance ourselves from the Father and the company of the Father, and then that is why the Maya attacks us. When someone is being attacked in order to save himself, he cries out and causes an upheaval so that he cannot be taken away far away. So you also have to, when you see that Maya is trying to break the love of your intellect for the Father, begin to sing praise of Baba's virtue within yourself. This is a key. This is a golden key. Very important line. That when we see that Maya is breaking us away or taking us away, we start singing praise of Baba virtues. Baba says Baba's virtues. No? One Murli Baba also said, you start saying Meetha Baba, Meetha Baba, Meetha Baba, and आपका गुस्सा चला जाएगा. The anger will go away. So Baba says, do not cry out in distress, but begin to perform an elevated task. On the path of bhakti also, people sing praises of the virtues of God. When did this memorial begin? They have changed the singing of praise in the mind in the form of singing praises in words. Only you can sing the praise in an accurate way because we know who's God in a very accurate way. You sing praise in the accurate way through the thoughts of your mind and through being the embodiment of remembrance. Whereas on the part of bhakti, they take it in a gross way, and so they start to sing, to use their lips. So this was in Bhakti Mark, they just copy us from our Gyan Mark, what we have been doing this right now. So they say they just copy you, right? But in Gyan, we are singing the praise of Baba the way he is, and that manifests itself into the Bhakti way. The systems and customs begin from here, therefore begin to sing the praise. Consider yourself to have the right and use all the powers. Then Maya will never be able to break the love of your intellect. You will not be distances, neither will you be weak, or nor will you be defeated. That's very important. Excuse me. Then you will be constantly victorious, Baba says. So remember the slogan of how you have been victorious many times. Now also you will definitely be victorious. Can those who have been victorious many times be defeated now? Not at all. You should feel it impossible. You should feel it impossible to be defeated. Just as the soul who do not have the knowledge find it impossible to be victorious, in the same way, knowledgeable souls should find it impossible to be defeated. So it's impossible that Maya can defeat us. So Baba says this was on 0403 since 1972, Murli. So the next paragraph is, at the present time, you have to become very cautious. At present, the pilgrims have reached a higher level point on their destination. When going to very high destination, there's a great need to maintain attention at every step. You need to check yourself at every step. What will be the result if you have less attention on even one step? Instead of going up, your foot will slip and you will come down. So Baba says, be very careful. So at the present time, do you have this much attention, or is there carelessness? The earlier time was a different phase. That time has gone by now. Now you must not be merciful. Even now you must not be merciful. If even now you are merciful, then you will not be able to be merciful towards other souls. So, so Baba says that you have to be merciful. That's what Baba is saying to us, that you have to be merciful on your own self. Now, Baba is cautioning the children, you have to attain such a high stage so that the children can be merciful towards themselves. Do not think that Baba is merciful and that Baba will be merciful for whatever happens. No. Now you will have to settle a thousandfold karmic account for one mistake. Therefore, now is the time to make even now is the time to make even the slightest mistake. Sorry, I'll repeat this line. Therefore, now is not the time, not is the key word here, to make even the slightest mistake. At present, you must be very cautious at every step and become the multimillionaires by earning multi-millions at every step. Your name is those who are the multi-million times fortunate. Wow, this is very powerful. You have to remember that we are multi-million times fortunate. Therefore, as is your name, should be a name, so should be your actions. Check in every action whether you are earning an income of multi-millions and becoming multi-millionaires. If you have not become multimillionaires, then how can you be called multi-million time fortunate? Not even one step should be without earning an income of multi-millions. Do you have such checking, or do you become conscious of this after you have wasted many steps? Therefore, you are being cautioned in advance. The final stage is that of you being a Shakti. The form of a Shakti is not that of a mercy. A Shakti is always shown as a destroyer. The time of destroying is now coming close. You must not be merciful at the time of destroying something. At the time of destroying something, you have to adopt the form of a destroyer. Therefore, the part of being merciful has also now finished. In the relationship of the Father, Baba wills accepting your carelessness and the mischief of childhood made you move forward. However, it is now the part of the form of a Sadguru to purify you in every way and to take you back home with himself. The father accepts the children's carelessness and mischief and still continues to explain to them with love and continues to move along with all of that. That is not the form of the Sadguru. The form of the Sadguru is one that makes your thought, words, and actions truthful. Whether he makes you that through knowledge, through your effort, or whether through punishment, the Satguru is not one who will accept mischief and carelessness, Baba says. Therefore, now understand the time and the form of the Father. It should not be that you do not recognize this final form of Father, and you deceive yourself by still being in your stage of careless childhood. You have to remain very cautious. The Shaktis should also adopt their form of being destroyers, just as it has been shown that anyone with the devilish sanskars cannot confront the Shaktis. Right? Baba says that anyone with the devilish sanskars cannot confront the Shaktis, and that those with the devilish sanskars cannot even raise their eyes in front of Shaktis. So, becoming the form of the destroyer and destroy the impure sanskar within your own self, and also become the image of destroyers that evil sanskars of others. Do you have such courage in the form of a mother? You can have mercy, but there is no mercy in the form of a Shakti. So that is what Baba says. And this was told to us in Murli of 03/05/1972. So Baba says you make a lot of effort, and this is why you become tired as long as you move along. Baba says you make a lot of effort, and this is why you become tired as you move along. As your enthusiasm decreases, you become lazy. And when there's this laziness, all its other companions will also come. Laziness comes with all its companions. It does not come alone. That's what Baba is saying. Just as Baba does not come alone, he is revealed with his children. In the same way, these vices do not come alone. They come with their companions. Therefore, when the vice comes into existence because you disobey many instructions, what becomes of your stage? You have a desire for one thing or the other. By cutting out just one word, neither are you yourself contented, nor are you able to make others contented. Therefore, when you are making effort for your self progress, or when you put any plan or service into practical form, before you create the plan and put it into the practical form, stabilize yourself in your stage of self-respect. That means in some or the other Swaman, okay, that I'm a deity soul or I'm a master almighty soul, and then make any plans or put them into a practical form. And this is what Baba has said in 10:05 and 1972 only. So the next thing Baba says, next paragraph, when someone knows that his destination is only a little distance away, he forgets everything else in the happiness of reaching that destination. So when you know you're coming very close to the Satyuga or your complete form, you become very happy. When you become lazy as you move along because of being tired whilst making effort, or because of little problems in order to finish all these, keep the time in front of you clearly, and together with the time, keep your attainment in front of you. And then the laziness and tiredness will finish, just as you create service plans for every year. In the same way, you make a plan for yourself for your stage of ascent, for becoming perfect, and for having elevated thoughts and performing elevated karmas. Together with keeping the plans in front of you, put them into a practical form at every moment, Baba says. This was from 24th of 5, 1972, Murli. The next paragraph, Baba says, just as the perfect stage and the future stage constantly stay in front of the Father, in the same way, are you also experiencing this, or are you thinking, I don't know what the future will be? It is never clear. It's never announced. However, the Mahavir effort makers will always have it clear in their intellect. So, are you able to see it clearly, or is there a thin veil in between? Nowadays, there's they also have a transparent veil. You are able to see everything through it, yet it is still a veil. However, there would be a difference in seeing something clearly without a veil in between and seeing something through the veil. Would there not? So, according to your effort, there isn't a transparent veil in between still remaining, is there? Baba's asking. Everything is absolute clear, is it not? So Baba says, so Madhubar Nivasis are unshakable, are they not? And here we also have to recognize that we are all are actually Madhubar Nivasis. I know Baba is talking to only Madhubar Nivasis here, but somewhere or the other, we are also the Madhubar Nivasis, right? Because that's our home, that's a permanent home on this earth. Or do you have the thought what is happening? Do you do not have any question of why and what do you? Whatever part is being played, a very deep significance is contained within each part. What was the significance? You were told earlier that in order to warn you of the time, a bell is rung every now and then. That is why people ring the bells in front of your non-living images. Now, this is the thing to warn you of the time. It is interesting that Baba warns us all the time by ringing a bell. And that is why in mandirs we have all these um, bells when they come in the temples. They awaken you by ringing the bells. They put you to sleep by ringing the bells. How interesting is that? Here also, because the scripture writers have shown a long duration of the time and put everyone to sleep, you are given a warning by the time, by the ringing of the bells. Everyone is sleeping in the sleep of ignorance because they think that they still have a lot of time. So here also Maya makes the soul of the divine family careless with her various colors and forms and her customs and systems and make them distance from the recognition of the time and put them in the sleep of slackness of effort. When people are careless, they are comfortable in that. But when they have a responsibility, they have to pay attention that they get up on time and do something. If there's no responsibility, they become careless. They go to sleep. So this is also a carelessness they have developed. They develop. When they become careless and are also lost in the sleep of being slack in effort, what do you then have to do? You have to shake them. You have to create some sort of upheaval so, so that they waken up. As is the sleep they are in, so is the kind of noise you make. If they are in a deep sleep, you have to shake them. But if they are light sleepers, they awaken with the slightest movement. At present, you haven't yet shaken anyone. Only a little movement has taken place. You use something else as an instrument to shake that person so that he wakens. Here in the drama also, when the images that were the form of a warning were shaken a little, And a little movement has created everyone woken because they were in a light sleep. They definitely did awaken, but did they cry out as soon as they awoke? When someone is suddenly awakened, he becomes afraid and wonders what happened. Some awaken properly, and some become conscious after having having become a little afraid. This is the key here, Baba. If we are shook from inside, then we become a little afraid and we start doing things. However, it should not be like this. There shouldn't be the slightest trace of any kind of fear visible on your face. There shouldn't be the slightest change even in your sound. If there is a difference in your sound or on your face, then would you call this a pass? In fact, this is nothing. Many more difficult papers are still to come. When a paper is not to be given after a long time, the student becomes careless in their studies. Then why the examinations days come closer? Then when the examination days come closer, they pay attention. So as yet you have seen nothing. However, such papers are to come that you wouldn't even have thought or dreamt of. You should have such a practice that it will be as though you are seeing a limited drama as a detached observer. Then, whether the scene is of a pain or a laughter, you observe both part as a detached observer. There won't be any difference in either scene because you will consider it to be a drama. So you should have such a constant stage. Whether the part is of being entertained or of a serious and a mature part of a loving soul, see that also as a detached observer. You should have the stage of being a detached observer. Your stage should not be that of being afraid or of battling. Some are not afraid, but they are still engaged in battling. There must definitely be some benefit. However, the stage of being detached observer is completely separate, Baba says. This is also known as the constant stage. There will that will only happen when you constantly remain absorbed in the remembrance of the one father, Baba, and the inheritance, and that is all, nothing else. Will seeing, listening, or coming into connection or relationship, you will consider it to be playing your part as a detached observer. The intellect should be lost in that love. Let there be intoxication of the father and the inheritance. That is why you must now create such a stage. Therefore, in order for you to be judged, to judge yourself, these papers come to you. How else would you know? Each of you receives a thermometer to recognize your own stage. So these are the thermometers through which you can judge your own stage for yourself. Baba says there is no need for anyone to tell you anything. Do not become afraid. When you go into the depth, all fears will be finished. All the fear will be finished. Because of not going into depth, you become fear. And the depth is that I am a soul and I can never die. So this was from 1909 since 1972, Murli. The other is all of you have the aim of becoming number one, do you not? You do not have the aim of thinking that it does not matter if you claim the last number, do you? If you have the aim of thinking that whatever you receive is good, what would that be called? What would be the title of such a weak soul? Baba says that's a weak soul. Such souls are also remembered in the scriptures. Firstly, tell Baba of such a title, and secondly, what is the memorial of such souls? The memorial of such souls is that when God distributed fortune, they were sleeping. So the aim is that we have to come in the golden age in the first janam, in the first birth itself, right? That we have to be the goddess of Shitala, of coolness. The memorial of such souls is that when God distributed fortune, they were sleeping. Carelessness is also partly sleeping. Those who remain careless are in the stage of sleeping. If you become careless, then also you would be said to be sleeping. What would be the title of such souls? Such souls are also called those who kick away the fortune that comes in front of them. You have become the children of the bestower of fortune. That is, you have claimed all rights. The fortune has come to you. The fortune has come in front of you. That is, the bestower of fortune has come in front of you. What would you say if instead of creating the fortune that has come in front of you, you kick it aside? Unfortunate. Such souls can never attain happiness. None of you are going to be like that, are you? No, Baba. You are those souls who created your own fortune. Whatever fortune you create, according you will create the portrait of your future reward, Baba says. And that is from 0450400573 Murli. The fortune of others is created through renunciation of the self. Where there's no renunciation of the self, the fortune of others cannot be created. The Father renounced everything for himself, and this is how your fortune is created. So, in their stage, they renounced all the luxuries for the self, and it was through this that fortune was created. Now, Baba is saying, are you making as much fortunes for others as you have renunciated for the self, as you have renunciation for the self? This is why the hairs are hidden. So now let those sanskars of being the great donors emerge. That is, whilst having all attainments and all facilities, do not get trapped in the facilities, but maintain your own spiritual endeavor. At present, there is little spiritual endeavor and have more facilities. Earlier, they made more spiritual endeavors and have fewer facilities. So Baba says this is why you must now constantly maintain that spiritual endeavor, that is, even whilst having all the facilities, maintain an attitude of renunciation through which you can create the fortune of many souls. Bab Dada has given you souls the authority of drawing the line of fortune on the hands of others. So it should not be that because of the lack of your own renunciation, you are unable to create the complete fortune of other souls. You have a great responsibility just as time is coming closer, so too the responsibility on each soul of not wasting any thought is also increasing. Now, do not consider this to be your own childhood. Whatever you did in your childhood was good. Even the carelessness of a child is enjoyed by others. But if an adult is careless, no one likes it. Therefore, according to the time, maintain your stage of self respect for all time and continue to fulfill your responsibility. Do you understand? Yes, Baba. Acha. So this was from 08/05/1973 Murli. And then third part we'll be starting uh, with in the other recording. So part 3, okay? Thank you. ओम शांति। आज की जो हम स्टार्ट करेंगे जो लेसन, वो हम 30th पेज से स्टार्ट करेंगे। और पार्ट 3 में बाबा ने बोला, इफ सो यू आर व्हेन यू आर कैरिंग आउट इन अ फिजिकल टास्क, due to some reason it is unfinished, you try to complete it, do you not? In the same way, you should keep the aim of accomplishing this daily task by paying special attention to one thing. You receive extra power. You will have the awareness whenever you carry out any task, and you will then become the embodiment of a remembrance. Baba says, in your external studies, also, when you are making a lesson firm, you have to learn it once, twice, thrice, or even 4 times. You do not stop until you have truly made that lesson firm. In the same way, constantly keep the aim of finishing each aspect. There mustn't be any carelessness in this. You think about something, create a plan, and when situation comes in front of you, when you are doing it practically, then when there is the determination in your thinking that you have to do it, then according to that determination, you will bring perfection close to you. At this present time, you have the plans, but what is lacking in them? Determination. That's what Baba says. You do not have a determined thought. You have the weakness of not paying special attention to show this. The Maharathis, that is, the elevated serviceable souls, should also pay attention to self service as well as service, right? Self service and then the service. So Baba says this on 1705 in 1973. Then Baba says they stabilize themselves in the stage of the type of song they are going to sing. If when singing a sad song, they do not create a sad consciousness, then those who hear the song would not enjoy it. When even those who sing or record these Lokik songs pay so much attention, then do you, who fill the unlimited record, and by that means Baba is saying that you are right now creating an unlimited record for your jans to come, for your birds to come. So who fill the record for the whole kalpa, pay attention to all these things at all times. Do you have the attention that the recording is, is being recorded at every second? Do you pay this much attention? If whilst recording you become lazy, alasya, or lose enthusiasm, ullas, then what would the record be like? Does anyone become lazy whilst recording? So when you are recording, do you also become lazy or do you constantly maintain your enthusiasm? Do you, as a detached observer, sometimes look to see what you have recorded in your record throughout the whole day? So we have to be very vigilant of that we are recording for the whole entire kalpa. And this is for 30th of 5, 1973, Baba says, just as a warrior puts all people and all comforts to one side and only keeps the battle and victory in his intellect, he keeps himself engaging in fulfilling his aim. In the same way, ask yourself, do you have the aim of just these two things? Or is there something else in your awareness too? Have you become such warriors No matter where you may be, always have the awareness that you are the warriors on the battlefield. Warriors never like to rest. Warriors are never lazy or careless. They are never without their weapons. They always carry these with them. They are never under the influence of fear. They are always fearless. So Baba says warriors never keep anything except the battle in their intellect. They always have the attitude of battling and the consciousness of attaining victory. So, are you also victorious with one another in the same way? Do you see one another with this vision? In the same way, a spiritual warrior would always maintain this vision. We are all Mahavirs and victorious at every second and at every step. We are on the battlefield. Do you just have the one deep concern for being victorious? Have you detached your intellect from all relationships and all the facilities provided by matter? Have you stepped aside from all this? So, whilst being on the battlefield, are the strings of the intellect still engaged with the relationships and the facilities of the matter? Do you consider yourself to be completely free, or are you still dependent on others for something? That's a great question to ask yourself every day, or every moment, I should say. The This was said on 13/06/1973, Murli. So next paragraph, Baba says, just as you can see the closeness of time, in the same way you are able to see the closeness and similarity of your stage. Just as people of the world are waiting for the time, in the same way are you, who are the instrument for inspiring establishment and destruction, busy in making preparations for completing your task and creating your stage? Or is it that those who are making the preparations have become careless and those who are waiting have become very fast? What do you think? Are you making your preparations with great force, or are you souls, the one who are the instrumental for making preparations, are also thinking in the same way as the people of the world do, that we shall see about it when it happens? You do not think that you will consider what happens when it happens, do you? So this is what Baba is ringing the bell in our head. This is also known as carelessness. So we have to check our statements that we tell to ourselves. Now, in order to complete such a huge task, you need to make a lot of preparations. Do you know what preparations you need to make? Does Sanskar have to carry out does Shankar have to carry out this task? You are not waiting for Shankar, wondering when he will inspire destruction, are you? How and when the flames of destruction emerge? Who was instrumental for that? Was it Shankar or the father and the Brahman children who created the sacrificial fire? Since the sacrificial fire was created for the task of establishment, the flames of destruction also emerge at the same time as the sacrificial fire was created. So, who is the one who will make the flames of destruction powerful? You are together with the Father in this, are you not? So, it is not Shankar, but those who will start the fire, who also have to finish it, become the form of fire, the same as Shankar, and finish the flames of destructions that you started. After the fire started, when the prey is burning, the fire is made intense every now and then. So, how big would these flames of destructions be? In order to accomplish this task, the instrument souls have to be stocked in order be stoked in order to make them fast. How should they be stoked? With your hands or with the stick? You have to make the flames of destruction intense with your thought. Does the thought emerge to become such a form of fire and intensify the flames of destruction? Or do you think it is not your task? So this was said on 3rd February 1974. At present, two main weaknesses are visible in the majority. You will be able to finish these and become the embodiment of success over the two of them when you accomplish this task. The weaknesses are laziness and carelessness. The method of finishing these weaknesses is to become a checker, Baba says. In 99% of effort making, laziness and carelessness are visible in the form of some trace or progeny. progeny. What is the trace of it in the Maharathis? What is the progeny of it in the horse riders? Do you know these? The trace of it is the thought, the nature or my sanskar, my nature or my sanskar. This is not my intention, but my words, my eyes, my features is revealed it. There are signs of it, but there is not the form and there is the trace of it. Laziness or and the royal form of carelessness are obstructions to becoming victorious in attaining the perfect stage. What is the progeny of this in the horse riders or those who will pass in the second division? What is their form? What is their trademark in their every word? What are the words of laziness and carelessness? There are experts in constantly giving points and making up stories which keep themselves safe. They are very active in making themselves blameless and putting the blame on others. They are lawyers but not lawful. Just as lawyers put forward a false case as the truth and put the blame on those who are blameless. In the same way, those who are in the second division will never reveal themselves to be guilty, even if they know it was their fault. This is why they are lawyers but not lawful. The trademarks in the words of such souls is, did I do this? Did I say this? I didn't have anything in my mind. What does it matter once it has emerged? It has happened. So what does it matter? So what does it matter? I will put it right. In their words will have the trademark. So what? What does it matter? Question mark. In relating the knowledge of this world cycle, you tell the whole story by relating what happened next. What happened after the golden age was that the silver age came. And what happened next was the copper age came. In relating what happened next, you tell the whole story. In the same way, souls who are lawyers on the basis of relating what next spins the whole cycle onto other souls. They put themselves forward as detached observers beyond blame and free themselves. With the words of what next, that is, with this one thought, the progeny of carelessness and royal laziness increase internally, so that instead of such souls becoming powerful, they become weak. This is the form of progeny of laziness and carelessness in the souls of the second division. That is, those who are horse riders. In order to finish the trace and the progeny of it, it is extremely essential to become your own checker. In 8 days, you become a checker for one day and remain. You become checker for one day and remain careless for 7 days. And so, would you create sanskar, or what would you do for 7 days? Or what would you do for one day? Instead of being alert, you become easy and lazy. What would be the result of such souls? Can such souls become master world benefactors and the great donors and bestowers of blessings of all powers? Therefore, whatever form of these two weaknesses you have, whether a trace or a progeny, only if you finish them from now, you will be able to become a bead in the rosary of victory, according to the sanskar of being victorious over a long period of time. This was said in 1806, 1974. Then Baba says, as soon as Amrit Vela begins, all the children everywhere make the effort to dial the number. That is to make a connection. Some children, because of having a clear line, are able to get a connection very quickly, whereas others spend their time in getting the connection. Some children become disheartened because they cannot connect with the number. Some children dial the father's number but are connected to the Maya in between. Maya interferes in such a way that they're not able to break away even when they want to. Here also, when you sometimes get connected to a wrong number, the other person does not put the phone down, even when you ask them to. You will tell the other person to ring off, and the other person will tell you to ring off. In the same way, Maya also breaks the connection of the weak children and causes them distress. There's a reason why she causes them distress, because those children are under the influence of laziness and carelessness throughout the day. They pay very little attention. Maya also seeks revenge on such careless souls at the time of receiving blessings by not allowing them to follow Baba's direction. The scene of such souls were very amazing. At Amrit Vela, their form is only visible for a short time. Sometimes, in order to seek cooperation from the Father, they put in the request with a lot of love. Sometimes, in order to please the Father, remind the Father of his praises and his duties by saying, you are the merciful one, you are the almighty authority, you are the bestower of blessings, you are the one for the children, etc., etc. Sometimes they become so forceful and distressed by Maya that they try to use the weapon of all for all powers. Sometimes they use the words and sometimes they place the shield in front of them. Although they were forceful because of not having the awareness of being obedient, faithful, and constantly an embodiment of remembrance, they forced and reached the target accurately. The scene is very amusing, Baba says. This was from 8/7, 1974, Murli. Then Father says, the corporeal form is your original form and the incorporeal form of is your internal form. Do you find it easier to stabilize yourself in the original form or in your external form? That is the external form, and the corporeal form is the form that goes away through transformation. So, which form should it be easy to stabilize in? Do you naturally have the awareness of the corporeal form, or do you naturally have the awareness of the incorporeal form? Or Baba says, do you have to make effort to remember them? What need is there to bring into your awareness the form of what you are and how you are? Have you not as yet become an embodiment of remembrance? In this the stage of at the end, or is it that those who practice this over a long period of time are able to attain this stage and pass with honors? At present, the thought in the mind of the effort maker is that they will become victorious, free from obstacle and destroyer of obstacle at the end. The thought is a royal form of carelessness. That is, it is a royal form of Maya. It creates the obstacle to your becoming complete. The carelessness doesn't allow you to become the embodiment of success or an image that is equal to the Father. The other thought you have of is of counting the time to destruction. You continue to think what will happen, how will it happen or not. This is not the direct form, but instead it is the direct form of doubt. Therefore, you don't tell them directly, but instead you use your royal words. What will happen? How will it happen? You think in this way, just as time is coming close. So too, are you making yourself as close as those golden aged deities in their specialities? Baba says, do you know why or for whom destruction is to take place? Destruction will take place for the intense effort makers, for those souls who become complete in order for them to experience the reward of perfect world and Satopradhan elements. So, should you continue to count the moments to destruction, or should you be constantly counting the qualifications of becoming like the Father again and again in order to make yourself perfect and Satopradhan? This is a very, very important point. So, instead of waiting for the time of destruction, you should engage yourself in the preparation for making yourself complete and perfect like Father. Instead, you spend a lot of time in waiting. If those who are experienced this reward spend their time waiting, then they are enable a subtle thought to reach all those other ordinary souls who receive an ordinary reward. As a, resu- as a result, the majority of the soul use the words, we will see about this when destruction takes place. When we see the practical influence, then we will also make efforts. Who knows what will happen or how it will happen? Even these vibrations of the instrument soul become the reason for making others weak and deprive them of their fortune. And this was said on 9 January 1975. You come here every year and say that you will now do this. You return from here having made a promise. When will you fulfill this promise? What is the reason? Why is there a difference in what you think and what you do? What is the reason for this? You think of doing something completely, but you are only able to do it by half. What is the reason for this difference? You create many plans, you have a lot of enthusiasm, and you make a promise with full understanding. All types of situations will come, but there is a difference between the understanding and the practical. What is the reason for this? If you go from here having sacrificed all your sanskar, then where do they all emerge from? Why do they return if you have sacrificed them? If you have sacrificed them, what is the reason for your body consciousness and carelessness to return? The reason is that just as after sowing seed, you look after them carefully. So you go from here with the thought of sacrificing them, but together with the thought you need to take care of it. If you don't take the care that you should according to the time, you need to take the necessary care of it. So if we sow the seed that we will become karmatit, that we will, you know, you are a deity soul, you will become the goddess of coolness. You have to keep on watering it every now and then. And that's what the Sovan practice is. So Baba says, but you sow the seed and then become careless. You think now that you have given it to Baba, Baba has to look after it, and that is now Baba's duty. You do not sustain it. You need to pay attention to your thoughts and words. Just as after sowing the seed, you water it so that it ripens. And you have to water it every day. In the same way, you have to revise the seed of your thought. You lack this, and then you become free from any concern. You leave it up to Baba. What would you call those who are not concerned? Baba says they become those who love rest and comfort. You should not be those who have the sanskar of loving rest and comfort, but those whose thoughts are filled with concern. There should be a concern for each and every sanskar. The stain of something missing in even one aspect of your effort is visible as a very big stain. Very important point. Baba said that. The stain of something missing in even one aspect of your effort is visible as a very big stain. Then there is always the thought that even one small stain will reduce your value. Your thought should be in the form of concern. If they are not this, then there is the carelessness. We have to understand that. You say something, but you don't do it. At the end, you will have to put into a practical form the yukti given. But now the sanskar of rest and comfort of the deity stage are pulling you more. The sanskars of the confluenced age Brahmans, which of the embod are of the embodiment of renunciation and not in an emerged form so much. Without renunciation, you cannot create your fortune. To think, Acha, I will do it later, I will see about it later, are sanskaras of one who loves rest and comfort. One who says, I will definitely do it now, are the sanskaras of a Brahmin. In the worldly, you know. So Baba says, in the worldly studies, those who have concerns for their studies are the one who pass because they are even ready to lose their sleep. How can those who love rest and comfort pass? Are you still thinking about it or are you going to do it practically? You should be concerned. You should have pure thoughts and have the concern to become perfect, the concern to remove your weaknesses, and the concern to give practical, instant fruit. You feel that the final paper should take place very soon so that you can attain your rewards of the Sun Dynasty. But are you ready for the exams? Is it that you will have to be ready? Or do you feel that you will be ready on time? Big question mark. If you think that the time will make you ready, then such thoughts of carelessness will not allow you to become powerful. In front of powerful thoughts, all these various wasteful and careless thoughts would finish. You don't have any carelessness, do you? Are you cautious and clever? Good question. So we should ask this ourselves like every hour, are am I cautious and clever or am I in carelessness? And this was said on 28/08/75, but in book date given has it's 01/09/75. So the other paragraph Baba says, in order to become a constantly ignited light, the main dharana needed is that of being tireless. When there is tiredness, there is sleep. The specialty of tirelessness was always experienced in Sakar Baba. So Sakar Baba was always connected with Baba, and he was very conscious of his, um, that he has to make the effort, and he was not careless. He was always connected with Baba. So we have to, that he has a great responsibility, and that great responsibility did not allow him to sleep. So the specialty of tirelessness was always tirelessness was always experienced in Sakar Baba. The one who followed the Father in this way become ever lit light. You should always check if whilst moving and walking, any type of tiredness makes you sleep in the sleep of ignorance. This is why the memorial of the special virtue of becoming the conquerors of sleep a kalp ago has also been remembered, right? The conquerors of sleep. Who are we? We are the conquerors of sleep, right? You have to become the conquerors of every type of sleep. You also have to make a list of which type of sleep do not allow you to become the conqueror of sleep. Before falling asleep, there are visible signs of sleep. The signs of that sleep is yawning, and the signs of the sleep of ignorance is sorrow. Very important point to remember. Very, very important point. So if you are sorrowful, if you have that sorrow and sadness in you, that's a sleep of ignorance. Look out for such type of signs. That's why Baba says, be in happiness always. Khushi mein raho. There are two main aspects of this. One is laziness and the second is carelessness. Firstly, it is these signs that come and then later the intoxication of sleep. Therefore, thoroughly check this. Along with checking, you also have to change. Don't just go on checking. You have to do both checking and changing. Acha. And this Baba said on 10/09/75. If those who are carrying out establishment are dependent upon destruction, then what would be their future? Who would then be the image of support for igniting the flames of destruction? Who would then transform the elements? Can those who are standing on the support of the elements or the destruction be the highest among human beings? That is, can they be the most elevated beings, or is it that the instrument for destruction and the elements will carry out their task on the orders of the elevated thoughts of the elevated human beings? And on the basis of all the images of support becoming complete, who will give the order? Who has all rights? The elements or the most elevated beings? Would you call the images of support those with all the rights if they are dependent on some support? So, what did Baba sees? Those who are making preparations are waiting in anticipation. They are careless in making preparations and alert in waiting. Very important. Seeing this, Bab Dada was amused and also felt mercy. Why children are even now not able to recognize the cleverness of Maya. Maya is putting you to sleep in the sweet sleep of waiting. And because of being under the influence of the sanskar of sleeping for half a kalpa, some doze off for a second, then become conscious again and develop force in making preparations. Whereas other fall asleep for a few minutes, then become conscious and develop that force. The third type of children are sleeping comfortably and every now and then open their eyes to see whether anything has yet happened or not. They think we will think about it when it happens. Would you not be amused if you were to see the scene? Since they sleep and they this keep checking if anything is happening or not. This Murli is from 23rd 10 1975. So the next 15 pages I'm going to read in part 4. And please subscribe to this channel if you feel like you want to follow more, and for the other great books that are coming. Om Shanti. I will be reading this entire book, and I'll be reading other books as well. So please stay tuned. Thank you. Om Shanti.